কলকাতায় আইন সম্মেলনে প্রধান বিচারপতি বক্তব্য রাখছেন, সরাসরি নজর রাখব।
Judgments. As I said, there are 37,000, but we are translating the judgments of the Supreme Court in every language which is recognized by the Constitution, including Bangla. I had to emphasize Bangla and Odia because my wife is very fond of Odia. Being an Odia and being very close to Bangla, of course, that's in a lighter vein. But apart from that, the purpose of doing all this in every language which is recognized by the Constitution is to take the work of the court to the homes and hearts of common citizens. And we are using machine learning software, AI-assisted software, for the purpose of translating these judgments, and the mission is on. Judgments of the Supreme Court has been translated into Bangla, into Tamil, into Gujarati, into Marathi, into Urdu, into Nepali, into Assamese. Every language, the work is on with the use of technology. Another very important aspect, to access a judgment of the Supreme Court, and I dare say for the High Court as well, any young lawyer has to first and foremost subscribe to a law report. How many young lawyers can afford the cost of spending, say, 40 or 50,000 rupees a year for the purpose of subscribing to a judgment of the Supreme Court? Simple question. We write the judgments, but the judgments are on sale by private publishers. The delivered judgment is available on sale by private publishers. Is this not something that we have to remedy? Because we are the people who write the judgment, is it not our duty to ensure that once the judgment is delivered, that it is made available to common citizens and to lawyers, young lawyers? And this is a part of changing the social character of the legal profession. Because who appears for the smaller citizens? Not the best lawyers in Delhi, not probably the best lawyer in Kolkata or in Mumbai or Chennai. Those who appear for the workers, those who appear for those small farmers, the marginalized citizens, are those who belong to their communities. Therefore, we have to make our judgments available. And that is why we have now set in motion the digital Supreme Court reports. The digital Supreme Court reports is a free resource which we have provided for judges and lawyers across India, which makes available all the judgments of the Supreme Court in a digitized form, freely available on the website of the Supreme Court. This is an effort to promote legal literacy, to allow for young lawyers who have no resources to pay to subscribe to these judgments. Second barrier, distance. Litigants can't come to the capital of every one of our large states, and West Bengal is no exception. It's a very large state. Maharashtra, where I grew up, is a very large state. Uttar Pradesh, where I had to do my work as a Chief Justice, an exceptionally large state. How many litigants can actually come to the court, sometimes only to be told that ye to tarikh pe tarikh mil gayi? That means we are essentially ousting the litigant from the process of dispensing justice in our courts. Video conferencing, which was initiated during COVID-19, has two clear benefits. It provides for decentralized access to justice. Across India, there are demands that benches of the High Court should be created at more than one place. The Calcutta High Court, of course, has a bench at Jalpaiguri. You even have a bench at in Port Blair. Just as the Bombay High Court has a bench in Goa apart from Nagpur and Aurangabad. Allahabad has a bench in Lucknow, so many others. Madhya Pradesh has a bench in Jabalpur, in Indore, and Gwalior. Jabalpur, the principal seat. Now, what technology does is to allow for decentralized access to our courts. Why should access to the High Court, or for the matter the Supreme Court, be confined to one location? I always ask myself the question, is the Supreme Court of Tilak Marg, or is it the Supreme Court of India? Physically, we are situated in Tilak Marg, but we must open up the access to our courts to lawyers and citizens across India. Each citizen must know that the smallest case which comes to the Supreme Court, and that is a criticism of us judges, People tell us, why do you take up these small cases? Why are you so concerned about somebody who has been denied bail for an NDPS offense? My answer is very simple. Somebody who is a carrier in an NDPS case, for instance, or somebody who is guilty of a small assault and who is in jail for 8 months, 1 year or 2 years, will the Supreme Court not look at them? Now, the reason why I mention this is that technology allows us to listen to lawyers from across India to hear the voices of those who are closest to the clients. That promotes a great deal of confidence in the work. Citizens have a great deal of confidence when they realize that the smallest case of pension, lost in bureaucratic apathy, nobody is deliberately denying anybody pension, but bureaucratic apathy. When you have a bureaucracy, there's bound to be bureaucratic procedures. That citizen is entitled to know with what seriousness my work is being attended by the Supreme Court. The third important barrier, the lack of awareness of court procedures. A citizen does not know what procedures are involved between the time that a case is lodged in the filings counter of the court to the first hearing in the Supreme Court. E-filing, which we have adopted, and not giving you all the figures, because I thought giving you all the figures and the great success story, every success story also tells us of still the work which is to be done. So I'm not giving you only part of the statistics. That's not my purpose. I thought I'll speak to you heart to heart. E-filing enables citizens to have streamlined access to justice. For instance, in the Supreme Court, we have been able to establish that a case which is filed by a particular date shall be listed before the bench for the first hearing by a particular date. In many high courts, for instance, I'm very deeply concerned about the fact that even urgent applications for bail will not be taken up for months on an end. This can't be the model of an ideal judicial system which we are adopting. We must give to citizens an assurance that a case which is filed by a particular date will be placed on the bench in the hands of a court which will deal with that grievance by a particular date. The National Judicial Data Grid. The National Judicial Data Grid is a mine of data.